Jambalaya, a traditional soul food dish rooted in Louisiana. Or is it? Hi, it's Athena at Gluten Freeology, where I make gluten-free versions of your favorite comfort foods and some healthy stuff too. Louisiana is often credited as the birthplace of Creole cooking, which includes some of my favorites like gumbo and jambalaya. But would you be surprised to learn that the earliest recorded record of jambalaya took place in Alabama in 1849? When you do an internet search for the history of jambalaya, oftentimes the Spanish, Portuguese, and French colonizers of North and South America are often credited as the origins for jambalaya. However, we all know that the enslaved Africans were the ones doing the cooking, and even after slavery, Black Americans were often forced into roles as maids and cooks. However, even after slavery, white Americans continued to take credit for the recipe of jambalaya as seen here in this Gulf City cookbook published in 1878. The first cookbook published by an African American woman is said to be done by Melinda Russell in 1866. This is believed to be the second published cookbook by an African American woman from Mobile, Alabama named Mrs. Abby Fisher. The publication of a book on my knowledge and experience of Southern cooking, pickle, and jelly making has been frequently asked of me by my lady friends and patrons in San Francisco and Oakland, and also by ladies of Sacramento during the State Fair in 1879. Not being able to read or write myself, and my husband also having been without the advantages of an education, upon whom would devolve the writing of the book at my dictation, caused me to doubt whether I would be able to present a work that would give perfect satisfaction, but after due consideration, I concluded to bring forward a book of my knowledge based on an experience of upwards of 35 years in the art of cooking soups, gumbos, terrapin stews, meat stews, baked and roast meats, pastries, pies, and biscuits, making jellies, pickles, sauces, ice creams, and jams, preserving fruits, etc. The book will be found a complete instructor so that a child can understand it and learn the art of cooking. Respectfully, Mrs. Abby Fisher, late of Mobile, Alabama. Many people within the African diaspora have commented that jambalaya is the cousin of jollof rice, and I have to agree. The jambalaya of today has come a long way from the late 1800 recipes. So clearly I did my research on jambalaya after I made it, but since this is a Creole recipe, I'm going in with Creole seasoning. It contains salt, so you kind of want to go easy. I'm also using smoked paprika, but regular paprika is fine. Also, I added thyme, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and then of course the usual suspects, onion and garlic powder. I also added a little bit of dried oregano. I know it's not traditional. And then I added some cracked black pepper and gave it a good stir. The holy trinity of Louisiana cooking is onion, celery, and bell pepper. However, me and celery do not get along, so I omitted that from my recipe. I used onion and 3 mini bell peppers and a ton of garlic. You want to make sure all of your veggies that go into your jambalaya are finely chopped like this. So if you've seen some of my previous soul food videos, you know that I always substitute pork with beef because, of course, I stopped eating pork when I was a teenager. So I used the whole pack of Johnsonville beef sausages. And then for the chicken, I used 3 thighs and I thoroughly coated them with the Creole jambalaya seasoning mix, and you want to rub the seasoning into the chicken just to make sure every surface is coated. Coat the bottom of a large pot with neutral oil. I used grapeseed, but canola oil also works. Add in your finely chopped onion, garlic, and bell pepper, along with a bay leaf, your thoroughly seasoned chicken thighs, and your beef sausage. You want to let that cook for about 20 minutes on medium heat. And just like Mrs. Fisher says, you want to thoroughly clean your rice. I rinse mine 3 times. This is the first time, but about the 3rd time, the water is not as cloudy as before. So once you drain your rice, you want to add it to the pot along with 2 cups of water and give it a good stir. It took about 20 minutes for the rice to cook, but if I had to do it again, I would wait until a little bit later. I also added in some butter and a large can of diced tomatoes. I also added a jar of marinara sauce because I wasn't getting the bright color red that I was looking for when I added in the diced tomatoes. Cooking chicken with the bone in adds a lot of extra flavor, but this step of having to cut up the chicken afterwards was really tedious, and I got really behind because I had not cleaned and peeled my shrimp yet, and I was trying to keep the shells on for some reason, but I quickly let go of that idea. So once you clean and peel your shrimp, you want to add the spice mix from earlier and let it cook in the tomato broth for about 5 minutes along with some extra butter. And just like that, you've got absolutely delicious Creole jambalaya ready to enjoy. And of course, the parsley is optional, but I could not resist. This was absolutely delicious.